they want to harvest this trait. Like this is a very soft line because they try to escape from the hard line, stay in the hard line. They say they want to harvest this trait when people die. Let's show you how this is impossible. Like this is very stupid of them. You see that traits and characteristics are value materials that individuals possess while they are alive, and they reproduce such in their actions. They reproduce such in the way they behave, in the way they communicate with people. I cannot say I have a particular trait and I do not reproduce that particular trait when I'm communicating, when I'm moving, or when I'm going on with my social activities. Your traits are lost when you can't see them in action, because nobody can judge if you have a trait within you. Traits are just arbitrary constructs that exist. We say that your traits are lost when we can't see such traits in action within you. So like that even flies. In my argument, I'll engage them in their best case, where they say parents should consent, or even if they want individuals to consent. We'll show you why that is going to be very, very stupid. First things first, let's tell you how this is going to widen the inequality gap. In the status quo, the sale of these traits are going to be so expensive that the poor cannot afford it. But the poor are only going to be the ones who are going to sell this. Only the rich can afford this. In such a world, we further empower the rich and we give them massive and undeserving edge over the poor in such a system, because we further empower them, we further give them power, and we further give them enough traits for them to plunder on the poor. When we further empower the rich and the poor and the have-nots in society, we widen the inequality gap that exists in society, and this is very, very problematic. Also, we say that we also widen the inequality gap that exists not just in societies, but also in countries. How? Because we say that such things are going to be employed more by developed states like the US, Russia, and all of them. And these developing and underdeveloped states cannot afford such things. Countries like Malawi, countries like Zimbabwe. We are going to further entrench the inequality gap that happens in societies, amongst these developing societies and developed societies, and also amongst countries that exist in the world politics. And this is very, very problematic. We say that we should never widen the inequality gap in a society where we are trying to fight inequality, because rich people do not possess perfect traits, and we do not even support the possession of perfect traits in individuals. And when you give them this, they become so powerful over the poor, and like the poor are people who exist under their mercy. Secondly, we tell you how the commercialization of these traits is harmful, even if Abonari analyzes this. When you sell off the traits of an individual and their characteristics, you sell off their values as individuals. You sell off their values as humans. You make individuals a means to an end. You make them like a means to make sure that you achieve your own selfish goal. You make them a means to achieve societal perfectness or whatever these guys show you in their speech. This is very, very problematic, because you are going to render these poor people as objects in society. You are going to objectify these poor people. You are going to make them say, see, we want you to sell your organs. We want you to sell, rather, not your organs. We want you to sell your traits. We want you to sell your characteristics. You are going to objectify these poor people because they do not have an option but to opt into this thing, because they do not have the capital and the purchasing power like you do in society. You are going to trivialize their struggle. You are going to also trivialize their values in the society, and this is very, very problematic. Tell you, let's engage opening government at their best. Let's tell you how imperfect choice mechanisms are things that play so much in today's debate. Individuals make wrong choices whenever there is a monetary incentive, attached to that particular action. Several individuals have always made a lot of wrong choices and wrong actions whenever there's a monetary incentive attached. Both these individuals and their families engaging opening government are going to make imperfect choices because money is involved, because these people are poor. We know that if these individuals are rich, they can never sell off their traits, they can never sell off their characteristics. But as long as these individuals are poor, that is the only instance where they can sell these things. And once money is involved, these guys do not have the rational thinking or a perfect choice mechanism that will exist when they do not have money, because monetary incentives take away the rationality of individuals, especially poor people who do not have. Because when you say people who do not have, this is a means for you to have, this is a means for you to possess more wealth. This is going to be objectification, because these guys are not going to have, and they must always opt into your narrative. They are never going to opt out because of the huge amount of money that they are going to make. We should never commit this action because it is morally wrong, and it is something that we should never do. Because individuals see these things, because we say that when individuals do these things, like when there's a lot of imperfect choice mechanisms, individuals in society see things on the short run. They don't see things in the long run. They don't see things how like it's going to affect them in the long run, because they are poor, because they do not have the purchasing power that these rich persons have. Because when they are poor, because when they do not have money, they do not see things in the short, in the longer run. They only see things to make sure that they have a means of survival, to make sure that they have a means of livelihood. They do not take into account the morality of this action. Closing the suit.
Alright, so let's engage a capitalist war where individualism is key. Why is it bad for me to commodify things or engage people to commodify things?
Even in a capitalist world, we have individuals suffering from oppressions of these capitalists. Even in a capitalist world, like we have a lot of people who suffer from this oppression. So we cannot say that because a country practices pure capitalism, every individual that exists in such a system is not oppressed by such skewed system or like consents to such a system. So we say that these individuals who do not have money in such a capitalist system are the ones who are going to suffer. We engage these debates on all levels, whether capitalist, whether conservative societies or whatnot. Then let's show you how like this is very, very wrong morally. We wrongly redistribute traits. This is very important. We wrongly redistribute traits and characteristics of individuals to people who do not deserve it in society. The only instance where they deserve it is because they have money in their pockets. We show you the arbitrariness of money. We show you the arbitrariness of wealth, because we are going to give people characteristics and traits that they do not deserve just because they possess something arbitrary as wealth. This is very, very problematic, because many of these individuals who have such perfect traits, who have such good traits, must have developed or must have grown such traits to become so good that individuals want to buy or want to harvest and want to buy such traits. So we say that once an individual develops this trait to be so good, we do not support a world where people can just use an arbitrary construct such as well to take off such things which individuals worked hard for. I will show you how these individuals must consent to this because they do not have purchasing power. Government should never commodify the traits of this individual. Private company should never commodify the traits, because it strips these individuals of their own value. It strips them of the value and their traits which they have in society. We do not support the world from our side. We do not support the world where we have every individual who has a perfect trait, and then we have some individuals who do not have traits at all, because these individuals who do not have good traits cannot manage it, and this is going to be problematic for society. We are incredibly proud to oppose.